Hi, it's Grandma Doris. This time I would like to read you a little story called Jesus in the Hand of His Enemies. The men who seized Jesus mocked him and flogged him. They also blindfolded him and said many insulting things. At daybreak they brought him down to the council in which they were gathered, the elders, both the chief priests and the scribes. And they tried to get evidence against him to have him put to death. But they could find no evidence, for those some made false statements, but they did not agree. Some men stood up and falsely accused. We heard him say, "I will destroy the temple." But of these statements they could not agree. Then the high priest arose, and he asked, "Why do you not answer? What about these statements that these men are making against you?" But he was silent, and he made no answer. "If I tell you, you will not believe me," he said. "And if I ask questions, you will not answer me. But after the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of God Almighty." Then they all said to him, "Are you the Son of God?" And he replied, "It is as you say, I am." So they said, "That Father need we no evidence. We heard it from our own lips." Then all the high priests and the scribes rose and brought Jesus before Pilate and began to accuse him, saying, "We found this man leading our people astray, forbidding them from paying taxes to the Roman Empire, and saying that he himself is Christ the King." So Pilate asked him, "Are you the King of the Jews?" And he answered, "Yes, I am." Pilate said to the high priest and the crowd, "I do not find that this man has done anything wrong." But they insisted, yelling and screaming and saying, "He stirs up people by teaching all throughout Judea. He began in Galilee, and now he's even come here." When Pilate heard this, he asked whether Jesus was Galilean. And when he learned that he was, and that he came under Herod's rule, he sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at this time. Herod was very glad to see Jesus. He had long wished to see him because of what he had heard about him. And Jesus he also hoped to see him do a wonderful deed. Although Herod asked him many questions, Jesus made no answer. And the high priest and all the scribes loudly shouted all their charges at him. Then Herod and his soldiers, after mocking him and dressing him in a bright robe, they sent him back to Pilate. Pilate then called together the high priest and all the officers and all the people, and he said, "You brought me this man on the charge that he stirred up people to rebel. Now I have examined him before you, and I have found no guilt in him for which you accuse, and nor does Herod, for he sent him back to us. You see that he has done nothing that calls for death. I will therefore have him flogged and then released." But the people cried out, "Away with him and release Barabbas," a man who had been put into prison because of a big riot which occurred in the city. And he was in there on the charge of murder. "Crucify him, crucify him," they yelled. He said this to them for the third time. "Why? What crime has this man committed? I have found no reason to put him to death. I will therefore give him the flog and then release him." But they started shouting again and demanding that he should be crucified. And so Pilate, wishing to please all the people, released Barabbas, but put Jesus and turned him over to be crucified. Thank you so much